Apple's Pabble says you don't have to practice using critical thinking skills, persuasion, or consensus finding if you can just order people around. Yeah, it's absolutely right. And I think one of the important things to understand is that as you get higher and higher consensus, it doesn't mean that you have found the correct answer, but it suggests you have found the correct answer. Okay? It is almost like polling reality from a bunch of different perspectives. And hierarchical power, concentration of power, is like polling reality from one perspective. Well, you know, not literally one, but fewer and fewer perspectives, which means that you're getting a less and less granular understanding of how the real world works. So direct democracy is is kind of an epistemological method. Now, it's not guaranteed. People can have all kinds of silly biases that distort their understanding of the truth, as Foucault might know. But in a general sense, getting people's consensus on topics, especially topics about how reality works, actually does get you closer to reality. Once again, with caveats, but it is almost like polling all of the information gatherers. You know, human brains gather information. They're in constant feedback of finding patterns in reality. It's a loop, right? And using direct democracy, using consensus, is about polling as many of those information gathering systems as conceivably possible. And therefore, you're getting some of the best information about knowledge about the world that you conceivably can, the more people are involved in the democratic process. And there's studies that have been done. It has to do with like, voting gets you closer to the truth. I don't know if this is going to bring it up. I think it has something to do with, like, I think this was what happened in the study, okay? It was something like they had a jar of beans or something, okay? A jar of jelly beans or something. And they got everybody to come through and vote on how many beans were in the jar. What they found was nobody got it right. But the average of all the results came closer to the correct answer than any individual came. And what that means is essentially that when we combine all of our perspectives together and we kind of average them out, we get something closer to reality than any of our individual perspectives. And I think that this applies to democracy as well, or direct democratic methods, or consensus, whatever, right? The more people's views that you're able to include in your amending process, the more, probably, the closer you're going to get to reality. Anyway, I'm going to stop repeating myself. As somebody says, this is known as the wisdom of crowds, the wisdom of the crowd, as several people have said.